And welcome back to another week on the Catholic Toolbox, the Art of Practical Catholicism. I'm your host and founder, George Manassa, here as we equip you with practical tools to live your faith in our modern world of today. And we are back for 2025, officially today here in studio with my lovely wife, Akita Manassa. Welcome back.
Hi, thanks for having me back.
Excellent. Are you excited for 2025?
Yeah, it's a very exciting year ahead, and hopefully very prosperous and a very joyful year and very productive. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it's
God willing.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know. It's like I feel like the year 2000 was like maybe about a few years ago, but it's actually 25 years ago. Isn't that freaky?
2000.
So
yeah.
anything
Yes,
like beyond
right.
1995 is considered vintage already. So I don't know.
The year I was born.
Oh, well. That's like 30 years this year, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, 2000 is when I started school.
Okay.
I started kindergarten.
Yeah. Congratulations.
25 years
That's
later.
great.
25 years later.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's always good. Yeah. That's exciting.
It's going to be an exciting year because the reason we are saying Happy New Year is because it is the year of the snake in the
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
Yeah. In the Chinese New Year calendar.
In the Lunar New Year calendar.
Yeah. So if you've already broken your resolutions for 2025, you can always start again tomorrow because it's Chinese New Year. So there's always another chance. And then if you really miss the Chinese New Year, there's always Persian New Year coming up a little bit later. So there's all these New Years. And the only reason I know that is because we celebrate these at work, because it's very multicultural where I work. And so we do celebrate these different things to get everyone.
The Zoroastrian New Year.
Yeah, I
well.
know. It's very interesting, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we like to follow the regular Christian calendar. You and me.
Of course,
Yeah.
the Gregorian calendar.
Yes, that's right.
But we're still in January. We're still at the start of the year. I think everybody's back here in Australia. Those tuning in internationally here in Australia, we go back kids go back to school next week.
Yeah.
Start of February. Mm-hmm. January is really a holiday sort of month.
For most people, not for me.
Yeah, I mean we're all back to work, but. You know, the first 2 weeks usually maybe it's a little bit slower. Third week it's still slow. Everything's sort of back at the last week this week, and then February it really kicks off. Yeah. So there's still time to plan your year. Mm-hmm. I mean, no, we're not well into the year. We're only well into January. Yeah. To recommit yourself to resolutions, and nothing can be more inspiring than the Lunar New Year.
Why is that? Why do you find it inspiring?
I find it fascinating because. It's just so fascinating, the animals and the years. Not that we condone the religious aspect of it, but just the celebration of prosperity of it's so funny. Yeah, I love it a lot. The Chinese Gong Xi Fa Sai actually means may you get rich, may you become prosperous.
Yeah. You know, I guess they're very straightforward with their well wishes, aren't they? Yeah, it's none of this. It's not like I hope you have a great year ahead. It's very generic. Whereas that's just very I hope you get rich. It's very straightforward. I hope. But like, what does rich mean? Does that mean wealth in general, like financially, or
wealth.
Does that mean spiritually rich, or does that mean I hope you have like a rich like culture or heritage around you, that sort of thing. Like I hope your family
spiritually rich.
I hope your family life is rich this year. So maybe that means rich in many different instances, but
it could mean in any different ways. But I think the Chinese is pretty explicit. They mean financial wealth.
Yeah. That's right.
I think we're taking the significance and blowing it up.
Well, we're not blowing it up, but we want to relate it to Catholicism as well in some way, because there are Chinese Catholics out there as well. Yeah, and
it's really a cultural celebration for most people.
It's more cultural because growing up, when I was in the Philippines, we still celebrated part of it. I do have a little bit of Chinese heritage, a few generations back, so some of those traditions have been passed on to me as well. Yeah.
Exactly.
Just little quirky things like what you do at Christmas, you know. But for us, it's more, I guess we eat certain foods, we eat certain dishes, and these remind us, like, for example, you probably have like a whole chicken or a whole fish, and that represents your family being together.
Yeah.
You know, the dumplings, what do they represent? I think you know already.
I think it means like a sack of money, you know, wealth. And
yeah.
And I think what else? What else is there? I think noodles mean longevity of life.
Long life, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Filipinos have them at every birthday. You have to have noodles for your birthday, like whether it's like pasta, or whether it's
Filipino spaghetti,
or a more like chow mein, like kind of dish, like noodles, because it means long life.
Okay, so the longer the noodles, the longer the life.
Yeah.
So it's longevity.
Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. I mean, I love these little cultural traditions, and we can really learn little lessons from them. And if we really think about it, there's a lot to learn from the Chinese. There's a lot of wisdom, you know, human virtue that we can draw from the Chinese. And
the discipline
that
they carry.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I feel like, you know, for me personally, I feel like there's a lot of gentleness in the culture, but sometimes it doesn't come across that way. But I do see it, like there's wisdom in, you know, a variety of different things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I just can't name them because I've gone blank. It's almost bedtime for me.
Yeah, I know. But let's treat this episode as, okay, so it's the Lunar New Year, it's still January, we're starting 2025, and we want to talk about tonight's topic and get straight into it, which is, how can one change their life in 2025 if they're not happy with certain things or a habit or the general direction which their life is taking, or certain organizations they may have be part of that they don't want to be a part of anymore, or don't want to join, or a workplace or a job. How can people take action in 2025?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really good question.
It's a big thing. Many people are thinking of these things.
Yeah, it's always a good question because it's, you know, New Year is always a turn for people to kind of be motivated to change your life in some form or another. Maybe they just don't want to be as, you know, they don't want to be as rash when they spend their money, and maybe they want to be a bit more careful with their spending, or maybe you want to really get fit this year, or improve your health in some form or another. A variety of things. Or maybe you just want to grow spiritually. You have these goals that, you know, maybe you want to do certain things this year to grow your faith and to grow into your faith. Or maybe you want to find a new role or something like that. So there's New Year's always, I feel like, something that a protagonist for you to make changes in your life. But I feel like the reason why we fall back with resolutions sometimes is we go too fast, too quickly, you know. So you get overwhelmed, you go running towards your goal, and then you get burnt out, and then you're like, nah, I'm just going to go back to my old habits.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that with today's episode, we can talk about how you can make these changes. So I don't know if a lot of people have been telling you, but, you know, to me, it is obvious that you've improved your health. So
yeah. And you too.
Thank you. So, you know, for example, we made those changes last year, and we didn't necessarily do it on the first day of last year, did we?
No.
Yeah, the last time we bought food from McDonald's, I still have this it's still on the bank statement when I looked it up, was at the end of March last year, and we haven't been back since.
Yeah.
So, like, not even, well, for me, not even coffee or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, but, like, you know, why would I go to McDonald's for coffee? Because the only reason I would go for McDonald's is to get nuggets, right?
Yeah.
But we don't eat that anymore.
Yeah. We choose not to eat that.
For a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are small changes that we've made. So, you know, you've dropped a lot of weight. You've started becoming healthier. You're running more.
Yeah.
You've got a fitness regime that you do keep up with. And so how did you go from January last year when we weren't doing any of that to January this year when that became the normal part of your routine?
Well, I think, look, at January last year, I think this is true for a lot of people, is that many goals that are set, I think, at the start of the year, people ease into it slowly because coming from the holiday season in December and still in January, you ease into it because you're going back to work at the mid-Jan and February. So I think for many people I've spoken to, February and March is where some goals click in, or they finally realize, well, okay, I'm into the year, I better get started with this.
Yeah.
Because when it's February and March, all right, it's already the first quarter of the year.
Yeah.
Really.
Where for me last year, the catalyst for me was my birthday.
Yeah.
So I wanted, as soon as like my birthday happened, I wanted to make changes. Because you already started before me. And then I was like, wait, why are we doing two different things? And why is what I'm doing like achieving nothing? Whereas what I could start seeing, I was seeing that you started to make progress towards your goals. You know, you were fitting into clothes that you weren't able to wear before.
So I started about February.
Yeah.
And then solidified in March, April, May. Yeah. Well, I decided finally, look, I have to really undergo the pain of the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, which is the toughest.
Detoxing from anything processed, artificial sugars,
do you want to just
seed oils.
Tell everyone like what your main goal was.
My main goal was to become healthy.
Okay.
And the means by which you become healthy is you change the way you eat, the way you move, and when you eat.
Okay. So
this does not count as any, not financial advice. This does not count as any medical advice. Big disclaimer.
Yeah.
And but what I did and what worked for me, and please consult your professional. This does not count as any medical advice. But what I did was I decided, look, we have to change how we eat. So why don't we try eating whole foods? You know, from scratch with meal prep. And then with some intermittent fasting where, you know, you eat a little bit earlier. Yeah. You get that 16-hour fast, what they call intermittent fasting. So it's what you're eating, whole foods, when you're eating it, within an eating window, in line with your circadian rhythm, which is when the sun arises and the sun goes down. Yeah. Which is, many scientists and doctors argue that's sort of how our body digests in the best way possible, in line with our circadian rhythm, and then exercising more. So I set a goal. This is what I want to achieve this year. I want to get healthier. I want to get fitter. And that's the goal. My vision is a longer term vision, which is to be very fit, healthy, and living my healthiest life, being optimal performance in my body. That's a longer term thing. That's within the next 5 years. That's what I consider a vision. Yeah. Goal, it is, okay, this year or this quarter or a year, there's a goal to achieve. But then how are we going to get there? The practical tools to get there was what I ate, you know, planning exactly what I eat, where I source these foods from, portions, and how I pack them, and what exercise am I going to do during the week, which was obviously circuit training and running, endurance, running. And then when am I going to eat these foods? You know, during eating windows, so I get some fasting. Very painful in the first week because you're detoxing from everything processed. You're used to it.
I found within the first 2 weeks, they were really tough because your body is still used to receiving food. Sugar. That you shouldn't be receiving on a regular basis. Processed food. A lot of sugar, a lot of like food that could potentially lead to inflammation.
Yeah, very things inflammatory like foods.
Yeah. We were, like, you know, you and I, we weren't eating the greatest food. Like, we were eating okay. Yeah, but lots of fast food. Yeah. Out all the time. Because
lots of social occasions, social events. There's always a reason for us to always be out and eating.
I know. We have a lot of great friends and we like being social with them, you know. And we do still eat out quite a bit. But we're very picky as to what we do eat.
What we do order when we're out.
That's right, yeah.
So we follow a rule that's called the Whole Foods rule. It has to be in its original form. So it's usually so if we go out, most of what we order is steak, meat.
Yeah.
Without sauces, roast veg, steamed vegetables. So you get as close as possible to whole foods as possible.
Yeah, yeah. And what we did might not work for everybody around us, and that's okay. We understand that. But there were little changes that we made. So, for example, we do our grocery shopping in farmers markets now.
Yeah.
Because we can get organic vegetables, really good eggs. They're like orange when you open them.
Yeah.
Beautiful eggs.
Yeah.
And I feel like it does make our nutrition a lot better in the long run. And, leafy greens. So there was like a whole bunch of things that was integrated into us reaching our goals. So it wasn't just, and this is the thing, all of this can become very overwhelming when you decide to do it hard and fast.
Hard and fast.
So, for example, if January 1, you wanted to get on this diet, say it was earlier this year, by January 9, you'd probably be like, nah, this is it. It's over. It's too much already. Whereas the reason why it worked for us was because we did it gradually. So we were switching things out. We didn't do everything in one go.
No, we didn't. We did it gradually.
We were still eating the food from our freezer. So we had a lot of good frozen meat, probably from Costco.
Yeah.
That was pretty good quality still. And we cooked everything until we had nothing left. And then that's when we did our shopping and we changed where we would shop. And then, God's providence, He showed us all these farmers that grow this amazing food.
Yeah. And there are many farmers markets around Sydney, around Greater Sydney, Outer Sydney. Yeah. And what's beautiful about the farmers markets, eventually when we got to that, it didn't happen overnight. All we changed was the basics. Okay, what we're going to eat.
Look, this is what happened. We
were exercise and when we're going to eat.
All right, I ordered some meat here. Let's just check it out. We're going to do click and collect here on this weekend. So let's just go. And then we went and then we saw all the farmers there and we saw what they were selling and we were like, oh, this might work a little bit better for us. And you know what? It improved my mental health personally. I wasn't stressed getting a trolley at a shopping center, pushing it around, stressed. Am I going to hit someone? Am I going to...
everyone's in my way.
Yeah, everyone's in my way. Get out of my way. Stop.
I don't like when people in my way at the shopping centre.
When you're just trying to get an ingredient, some salt, and then someone's standing there staring at the thing for 10 minutes. That's become me because I read everything on the ingredients list now.
Yeah, that's right.
But I don't have that stress anymore when I go shopping. So we go to the farmer's market. We talk to people who've grown the food. And
that's what I loved about it.
And we know, and all their signs are we don't use pesticides.
Yeah.
And then I think when we went on holiday to Tasmania last year, and I remember I kind of just started, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is God's land. They do not use the pesticides that they use on what they call the mainland, which is where we are, the rest of Australia.
Yeah.
They have the freshest air down there. Mm-hmm. All their food was so fresh. Everything was so natural. The soap was a lot of the soaps that we came back with, the shampoos.
That's what I love about Tasmania.
It was like honey.
Yeah.
It was made out of
it's made naturally.
Oil.
Very naturally.
Yeah.
And
it's made with what God made us.
Yeah.
It's made with what God gave us to thrive on. And, I guess consumerism over the last 50 years has changed that because we want things faster, we want it cheaper, we want more for value. But for example, the soap that we were buying, it looked like a small bar, right? Mm-hmm. But it lasts you a long time.
Yeah.
And this is one of the changes that we made because we wanted to improve what we put
on our skin. What
we're consuming, through our skin as well. So not just what we're eating, but what's going on our skin.
Because everything, what you eat, what you put on your skin,
it all affects you.
It all affects you.
So,
but again, see.
So we really came into it through we wanted to do it holistically. We didn't want to do it.
It sounds like a lot to many listeners.
It does sound like a lot, and
farmers markets.
It sounds very overwhelming, and that's why if you go hard and fast, you're going to burn out.
Yeah. Because
it's a lot. It's so overwhelming. I'm still trying to find things that we can improve in our lifestyle now.
Yeah, exactly.
And like it's been like 8 months in, and I'm still going. I'm still on that journey. What can we switch to become a better alternative?
Exactly. Exactly.
Because I have I'm still.
It's perfumes even.
Yeah. There's a lot of things. I switched out floss the other week because
to bamboo, I think,
No, to silk floss, and it is a more expensive lifestyle, but these things do last us a bit longer, and I don't know. I just feel like God gave us one body. You got to take care of it.
Exactly.
You only get one.
I mean, it's not such an. It's not really. It's you can consider, for example, depends where you buy from, can actually be cheaper. It's just a matter of looking after yourself that little bit more. But to scale back, health-wise, we just change what we're eating. Doesn't matter where you're getting it from. Change the basics, what you're eating. And as you grow with it, the point you're making is you will soon get better and better and refine over time naturally and gradually. It has to happen naturally.
It becomes part of your lifestyle.
Exactly.
So it's not
and that's
just...
what lasts.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just... It's not the hard and fast... I'm going on an all juice cleanse, and then I'm going to faint 3 hours in.
Because no advice, but yeah.
Because that's that kind of thing doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, and I know that. So our diet has changed for the better, so it's improved.
It's the way you eat. So I mean, if you make permanent changes, what you eat, when you eat, exercise, and you do it. Maybe you start a little bit, gradually, and then you build it up, and start to enjoy it. To do it to a level where it's sustainable for you to keep going.
Yeah.
If you know you can't do 4 workouts per week that are intensive workouts, then it's probably best you don't do it to start with. It's probably best that you start with maybe that one workout, maybe with a friend of yours on Sunday, where you can do a 30-minute power walk, or start doing a little bit of jogging, something that's not going to disrupt you too much.
Yeah.
You want to disrupt yourself, but again, we want to be sustainable. We have to keep in mind that we have to be sustainable in our approach. So for me, if you told me to work out for 3 days a week, doing supersets, I couldn't do it. It's too much.
You'd burn out.
I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be excited. But I get excited when I wake up on a Sunday. I know,
you're gonna go for a run.
I'm gonna go for a run with
a friend.
With a friend that I'm gonna work out with.
I feel like half the time you come home after your workout, you just ran to the coffee shop.
That's the reward.
So it wasn't.
That's the reward.
Yeah.
So you're doing it with somebody or doing it yourself, something where you know it's gonna last, maybe 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's sustainable, it's not too intense, and then you have a coffee afterwards. Gives you that incentive that I can do this for the rest of my life.
You do need something to look forward to.
Exactly.
Which is coffee.
So I know I can actually keep doing this every week. It's once a week.
Yeah.
I know, and then when I have time, we try to do twice a week. And I wouldn't do more than twice a week.
Yeah.
And the rest is keeping your steps up every day. 10,000 steps. If you asked me to do 3, 4, 5 a week every week, I couldn't do it. So you have to see what works with you to achieve a consistency without you having to go hard and then burn out and then... But again, some things might work differently for others, but that's my suggestion.
Everyone's got a different routine that they get into, but it's got to work for you.
But it's a real good case study looking at, our personal journeys of changing our health sustainably, and this is how we're going to eat for the rest of our lives. Yeah. Because it has to be sustainable.
Yeah. And if you want to do the same thing, but for your spiritual life, how would you do it?
Okay.
So say you have a New Year's goal, I want to go to Mass every day, or, maybe I want to go to confession more frequently instead of once a month. Maybe I want to go twice a month. Or let's say another goal of, I don't know, I want to read maybe 2 spiritual books per month, but I currently read 0 per month.
Yeah.
So how do you get that going? How do you get a catalyst in your life to change that?
Okay. Well, it's worth me mentioning, I think, the way I sort of plan my year.
Okay.
And the way you've somewhat adopted this principle is I break up life into 4 aspects: spiritual, physical, work or occupation, and social. So the spiritual is obviously, it's not an aspect, it is everything that encompasses our life, but for the sake of analysis, it's an aspect of life, spiritual life, which comes first, before everything. Relationship with God comes before everything. So spiritual at the top is to do with your spiritual life. Physical is to do with your physical health or appearance or anything physical, your mental health, your physical health, everything to do with the flesh. Spirit, the flesh, and their work is to do with your occupation or any other side hustles you may have, making money, supporting your family, looking after yourself. And then social is, social interactions with others, your friends, your social life, outwards, So once you're the best version of yourself spiritually, physically, and you're working well, you can radiate out to others. It's a beautiful sort of sequence that I've learned over the years to follow it. So I think spiritually, the goal, and for every aspect, we want to set a vision, which is like a 5-year vision or a 10-year vision. What's my vision in 5 years? What do I want to be? That's the part where you dream. They talk about dreaming.
Yeah.
What's your dream?
Yeah.
I used to have a careers advisor in high school. he used to come in every month for pastoral care, and used to stand there and he used to say, "I need you to all close your eyes and start dreaming."
Okay. Did you do that?
I think everybody was just laughing at the time. This was year 8, year 9, year 10.
Yeah.
He says, you better start dreaming.
It's a little cheesy.
Better start dreaming.
It's a little cheesy at that age, isn't it?
Yeah, but he said you better start dreaming. Better start dreaming.
I'll tell you what though, if you had that teacher go to another country, all those kids would be telling him all their heart's desire.
Yeah.
Because, you grew up in Australia, which is a wealthy country. Yeah. If you did that in the Philippines,
first world problems.
Everyone would be crying. I'm not even joking. This is just the thing. It's just true.
Yeah.
Because all these kids, when they've gone through so much in their life, what they're dreaming of is to get out of poverty.
Yeah.
And what are you guys dreaming of at that age? A Ferrari? I don't know.
Yeah.
A Lamborghini.
Yeah. How can I work at my dad's business or something?
Yeah. Yeah. How do I skip year 12, I mean,
first world problems with
that's
high school
probably
students
why that
in Australia.
teacher was telling you guys to dream, was because you needed these goals in your life.
Exactly.
You needed something to work towards.
Exactly.
And it probably sounded really silly at that time because you're 12, 13, and you don't have the problems that they have overseas in the third world countries. You don't got to provide for your family when you're 15.
Yeah.
You're not the one looking for where am I going to find rice tonight?
Yeah.
Because that's a reality for a lot of these
kids. It really
kids.
is. It really is.
And it's quite sad. And you did see that when we visited last year, didn't you?
Yeah. And so that's the vision. The vision is your dream. What do I want to? What do I want to look like in this area of life in 5 years?
Okay. So everyone needs to dream.
Yeah, that's your vision.
Yeah.
And then in order to achieve that vision, you need to set a goal. For instance, your spiritual life needs to have a goal for that year, for 2025. So you set a vision for your spiritual life for the next 5 or 10 years, however you want to do it, your physical, your work or career, and social. And then for each one of those, you would then set a goal, which is a measure for that particular year, which adds to that 5 years or 10 years of progress.
Yeah.
It's very measurable. It's very simple. And then, so if your goal this year is to pray consistently every day, Okay. Now, the third thing we've got to do, so you have a vision, you have a goal for each aspect of your life. The third thing is the practical strategy. What's your strategy? What are your practical tools? And we're here on the toolbox to talk about the practical strategy.
Which we'll get to.
So your strategy, as I said before, has to align, really has to align with your personality, where you're at, and it needs to be sustainable. For example, I'm not a big fan of going into Lent and really as if you're going into the desert and then we come out on the other side and, nothing's continued.
Yeah.
The fire burns out and back to the year. But rather, we would rather take up a penance that you can keep sustainably throughout the rest of the year. You just add it.
That's a really good
one. We
want
to add stuff to our spiritual portfolio.
Oh my gosh.
You want to slip it in there. You want to keep it. We don't want to lose it. If it means it's something small, like perhaps doing some morning prayer, morning offering, 10 minutes of mental prayer in the afternoon, and a rosary. And that's measurable for you. It's not too much. You can weave. Because sometimes we have to trick ourselves. Our human flesh is weak. So we have to weave in. We have to be cunning like a snake.
It's just like how I trick us into eating more vegetables every week. It's the same thing. You see? That's what I mean.
You got to trick yourself.
That's what I mean, these goals.
You have to fool yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. So I think personally, to do it where you don't notice too much of a change.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to notice too much of a change if you're praying 10 minutes in the morning. With a podcast.
10 minutes is fast in the morning, especially when you're in a rush.
But 10 minutes in a podcast.
Yeah.
It might even go faster if you really struggle. Maybe playing on your way to work in the car.
Yeah.
Rather than playing radio. 10 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And that 10 minutes is something permanent that you're going to do. You're not doing it for that year. It's just something you're adding. Because our life is short. Every year that goes by, we really want to be adding more and more exercises or habits that we adopt forever consistently.
Yeah.
We want to be consistent. We don't just want to do something for this year. I want to pray more this year, and then we forget about it.
Yeah.
Because you went out praying for 30 minutes and you've never prayed for 30 minutes. But rather we want to incrementally grow so that we don't feel it too much.
Yeah.
We don't push ourselves too much.
That's right. You do have to trick yourself. You do have to trick yourself.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Trick yourself. We're not trying to fool ourselves. I mean, it sounds bad.
No, but it's different. It's like you're just trying to work around your psyche.
Yeah.
So that you can implement the thing you really want without feeling like you're missing out on the things that you used to want.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's like, for example, when you and I started this kind of new diet, I was like, so how are we going to eat breakfast every day? Like, for us, mornings are a bit rushed most mornings, right? We're quite busy. We've either slept in or you're running out the door because you've got an early shift that day.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. So I was like, well, we need something that we can eat so that we're still getting nutritious food, but it has to be grab and go. So I found this recipe, and it was these muffins, but they're savory muffins. And you and I, we have a bit of a sweet tooth, but we're more savory fans.
Yeah,
I would say.
I think we're more savory.
Yeah, and so we've been putting so many vegetables into that every single day, and you're eating that without even thinking twice.
Yeah.
And that's our way of tricking ourselves. We're eating, so in front of you, you're seeing, I'm eating a muffin.
Yeah.
But reality is, most of that muffin is probably vegetables.
Exactly.
It's stuff that I probably wouldn't touch with a fork by itself. Like, I probably wouldn't eat.
Like if you put all that vegetables on a plate with the egg and with all the components, you're probably not going to eat that.
No, you won't. Yeah. But because it's in muffin form,
we change the form.
It goes straight in the mouth.
So for those listening who might want to adopt the actual recipe, what do we put in there? Ham, some bacon.
So they're gluten-free muffins.
Yeah.
And so basically we follow the paleo diet.
Yes.
Okay. Which means no grains, no
medical advice here. a big disclaimer.
No gluten, no dairy, no grains. But this is the food that, the ancestors have been eating.
Natural food.
Yeah. So
if you really break it, everything has a name: paleo, keto,
whatever.
But it's just whole foods.
It's just this worked for us.
Yeah.
This just happened to work for us. And it worked for you and me.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying everyone has to go on a paleo diet.
No.
Do whatever you want. It's
Find what works for you.
It's your life. Maybe you can
find what works for you and consult with your professional.
Yeah,
before taking any measures.
But for us, this is what we've chosen to do, and it's been working for us.
Yep.
Okay. And so every day we're eating savory muffins in the morning for breakfast, and it's got eggs. It's got a lot of protein. It's got ham. It's got a lot of vegetables, which
mushrooms.
Are organic. Sometimes there's mushrooms.
Yeah, beautiful mushrooms.
And I do experiment as to what vegetables we do like to eat.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of playfulness to this as well. So we're not like super rigid. Here's a box. This is everything we can eat. Sometimes, you do have to get creative with it.
Yeah. Sometimes we have time. We'll cook our scrambled eggs, ham and everything, and have our breakfast. But we know that we don't have the time during the week to be cooking every morning. And if we don't have something that we're eating healthy, there might be the temptation to eat something later.
Of course.
Because we're unprepared.
Yes, exactly.
Because we're hungry and we really need something and we don't know how it's been cooked or anything else.
Yeah, exactly.
So to control that, we will meal prep.
We just do it ourselves.
We meal prep at the end of the week, and it's ready for the week.
Yeah.
So if you have to rush out the door, you grab 2 muffins, put them in your lunchbox.
Yeah, that's it.
Just eat it when you can.
You gobble them when you can.
You gobble them when you can. It's there. It's ready. It works for us. I mean, that's what we found. So that's part of the strategy that. That was the physical for us.
Yeah.
Our vision, 5 years, to be very healthy, optimal health.
Yeah.
And then our goal last year was to lose weight in 2020. Not lose weight, get healthy. As a means of that was to lose weight, become healthy, and that was the goal. Strategy to achieve this goal within this year was, okay, we're going to change what we're going to eat. Okay, but when are we going to prep this? Can't just wake up every day and just... for us at least, with our schedules.
Yeah.
Can't just wake up every day and think, okay, what am I going to cook today?
We don't have that luxury, unfortunately.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, as well, but even if we had, I still personally would not want to actually eat, wake up every day and think about what I'm cooking.
Yeah.
I really love the system of just prepping everything on Sunday. It's all ready for the week, breakfast and lunch, and then anything you feel like cooking or you have some extra time.
Yeah.
Or you're in the mood to cook.
Yeah, we just do it.
Is an additional extra.
Yeah, we just do it when we feel like it.
Make a snack, do everything. But your basics are ready.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, look, we do have social occasions that come up.
Yeah.
More than often.
Yeah.
We're always with people.
There's a lot of work lunches I have. We
have a lot of social lunches. I have social lunches and dinners.
It gets busy as well.
We have a lot of occasions. So... sometimes if we're going to have a slight cheat meal, maybe eat a little bit more, indulge in something small here and there, it'll be at those functions.
Yeah,
we'll leave it to then.
Yeah.
Not every function, but...
Yeah.
And so at least we're in control. So that's what worked for us as a case study for our physical health.
Yeah.
And it worked. So we had a clear vision, which is still in effect next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
We had a goal for last year. And then we had a strategy. And the strategy is not something you just want to do for that year. You want to adopt it permanently.
Yeah.
Now, that was 2024. We're continuing this in 2025.
Yeah.
And naturally, we're refining it as we go. A strategy shouldn't just be a bland rule that you just copy and paste all the time. It molds a little bit. Yeah. It should be a copy and paste strategy that you do every time. And then as you do it constantly... it organically grows and flourishes better. You start to notice, okay, well, where am I getting my food from? Where am I buying my food from? Has this been grown properly? Okay, or maybe we should get our produce from here. Okay. What oil am I cooking with? Okay, maybe this oil is a bit better. Okay, what am I cooking on? How am I packaging it? You start noticing little things and you refine them naturally. You don't do it at the beginning and everything. We just grow gradually. Same with your your fitness. You might realize, okay, I might want to start doing a bit more running. So the whole thing is doing it organically. And sometimes you don't need to go that extra step. You just stay where you are, do it at your level, at your pace, so that you can be consistent. It's better to be consistent and going at a pace that works for you, even and maybe not jumping to the next level, so that you can be consistent.
So I feel like we're at the point where we actually need to bring the practical tools out of the toolbox.
Exactly.
So, for example, so I guess if you want to change your life, my first point was consistency is key.
Okay, so, 3 practical tools.
Yes.
Let's go into it.
The first one is you have to be consistent. So don't give up on yourself. Okay, you do have to try and continuously progress within your goals and try and do things so that you can get there. Okay, so that's the first one.
Yep.
The second one is all good things take time. So have patience. Be patient with yourself as well. Because these things, if you want real change in your life, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time when you can mold them into your system, into your routine, and just it becomes a part of you naturally. Yeah. And then the third tool...
It has to mold with you.
It has to mold with you, and it will take time. Great things don't happen overnight. And that's what you have to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the third one, it has to be sustainable. It has to be something you can kind of keep up with continuously doing in your life, which kind of molds into the first point, which is consistency. So the more sustainable it is, the more consistent you will be. The more consistent you are, it actually becomes more sustainable for you. So it's a cycle, right? And then in the middle, it's going to take you time.
Yeah.
So don't rush into it, and before you know it, you've reached your goal. It's been a few months, you might have reached your goal already, but you can keep going as well.
But the nature of goal should not be a permanent, should not be a temporary thing.
Yeah.
Well, it is sort of a temporary measure. We have to set a goal, right, which is a measure within
because
a certain time.
Once you reach that certain goal, you move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Which is part of your strategy to progress.
Yeah.
Right? To kind of
keep going. So you build from that goal, that measure, to another measure.
You keep climbing the mountain until you reach the peak.
Yeah, exactly. Just because you reached maybe 100 meters in the air of that mountain, you're still on the same sort of trajectory of that goal, but there's another measure that you need to reach to.
Yeah.
But you've already reached.
But you know what happens when you reach the top of that mountain? You go to the next mountain.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Which is your next one.
Yes.
So what do I do after that? You just kind of keep going. You build on this, and this is how you build a great life.
Yeah.
This is how you change your life for the better.
Yeah.
So you're not stagnant.
But you're not overzealous.
No, it's not about being overzealous.
We don't want to be stagnant, but we don't want to be... We want to be progressing at a good, sustainable rate, as you said. Consistent, sustainable, has to mold with you. I think they're excellent 3 practical tools, because you said consistency is key. And when you're consistent, it molds with you and then becomes sustainable. Hence, it goes back to being consistent. It's
like that podcast we were listening to on the way here, actually.
Yeah.
It's like how this priest was comparing the chicken lays an egg, which becomes a chicken, which lays an egg, which becomes another chicken.
Yeah.
So it's it's cyclical.
Yeah.
And it's kind of codependent on each other. And that's kind of how we're working with this. If you're consistent with it, it becomes sustainable. If it's sustainable, you will be consistent. Right?
Absolutely.
Do you see that like with what you did last year with the goals?
Yeah. That is a good case study.
Because we were consistent, it became sustainable for us.
Yeah.
Because it was sustainable, we were able to be consistent with it. We were able to keep going. That's the whole point. Sorry, is it too philosophical?
Yeah, I was going back and forth, consistent, sustainable, consistent, sustainable, consistent. I think, John, you confused John out there.
Maybe you confused everyone.
His head's spinning.
I know, I'm sorry.
Are you spinning, John?
Everyone's spinning, even I'm spinning a little bit.
Consistent, sustainable, consistent, sustainable.
But it works hand in hand.
Yeah.
There's a reason why it does work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So somebody could take those 3 practical tools and look at it and say, okay, my spiritual life. What do I want to achieve this year in my spiritual life? Is my prayer life out of whack? Am I not doing my prayers? Am I just moving it to the side? Or am I not making an effort, to grow my spiritual life? What area needs work? Okay, obviously my vision is holiness, and then a goal this year could be to get a consistent prayer routine, or what St. Josemaria Escriva called the plan of life that you would have every day. That's like your daily routine. Just how we eat, we drink, we have a routine. We don't skip that. That's molded in us. Prayer life has to be molded in us, and it can be molded. And then strategy could be, what are you going to do? What prayers at what time are you going to do?
Yeah.
I think it's important. What you're going to do, when you're going to do it. Like with the physical, what we did last year, if someone was to look at the physical life and they want to get in shape, change their eating routine, our strategy was, we had our vision, goal, strategy. Strategy was, okay, we're going to change our eating. What we're going to eat, okay. When are we going to eat? Okay, but when are we going to cook this food? When are we going to prep it so it's ready for us to eat? And so we've basically done the steps to pave the way more easily. You go back to your spiritual life, I think. What prayers am I going to say? Am I going to do some 10 minutes of spiritual, do a morning offering when I wake up, and 10 minutes of spiritual reading. Okay, and at midday I might do the Angelus. And at 3 o'clock I might do a prayer, a quick Divine Mercy prayer. 6 o'clock I might do something, and 9 o'clock I might do something. Maybe 5-minute prayers each, a few minutes. That's not too much for you. That could be consistent, and you stick to that. And make sure you're following it through consistently. It's like getting your technique right, and you let it mold into you before, build from that. So that's your spiritual life. Physical work could be, you want to achieve a certain promotion at work. You want to grow professionally or develop yourself or undergo some professional development at work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take that course this year that you've been speaking about. Get that qualification. When do I need to take this course? Should I take it via correspondence? Can I do some study in the evenings? Can I dedicate Fridays or Thursday nights? When do you have some time to dedicate that time to grow professionally in your work? Do you want to learn more how to grow your finances? That's part of work. What's your strategy? Should I see a professional maybe? And then social, do I have certain people I would like to get to know this year a little bit better? How can I spend a little bit more time? When am I going to catch up with them? It's what you're going to do when you're going to do it, really, a lot of the time, as your strategy. When?
Are those the main questions? Is that the answer to life?
What and when?
To the question of life.
Yeah. Because you're going to do something, you can do it in time.
Yeah.
And you're doing everything in space. Obviously,
we
exist in the physical laws of the universe.
Yeah, okay.
We're bound by space, so you're doing you're doing something in space.
Yeah, that wasn't my question. You went a bit far-fetched over there.
Yeah.
No, we're getting...
So what we're doing when, really?
Yeah. 2 little questions, right? But
as your strategy.
But maybe that could redirect the course of your life, huh?
Yeah.
Right?
What and when? That can direct. These are 2 questions.
It's getting shorter and shorter. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this could direct your strategy.
You could redirect your life if you really wanted to.
What do you want to do when? Sometimes I'm a fan of, okay, we're going to do it when. Let's Google it. Let's get into it.
It's like you're really just lawyering someone, when you just ask too many questions that you just answer fast.
Yeah.
Really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's, it's really good always, to be heroic. The heroic minute, so Josemaria Escriva speaks about heroic minutes. which is a minute, where, there's, what you need to do. You have a task, just be heroic. You don't feel like doing it, just do it.
Is that when you wake up first thing in the morning?
Yeah, it's applied to when you wake up first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
Or it could be applied to a task.
Okay. Could
be applied to anything. Oh, I need to go do the dishwasher, for example. Heroic minute, get up and do it. I can't be wrong.
Have I witnessed that very frequently? I don't know. Maybe you need to work on your heroic minute there.
Yeah. I've been doing it. I've been working on it.
No, I know you have.
Yeah, so these are things which, there's a lot there to really. I think we've discussed a lot.
Yeah.
To really guide people in 2025. 4 aspects of life: vision, goal, strategy, and obviously make your 3 practical tools. Make it consistency. Let it mold into who you are. Whatever you do, and then do it sustainably.
Yeah, well,
if you follow that recipe, I believe in its true sense, you will achieve success.
Absolutely.
That's in my opinion.
Well, I think...
No guarantees.
I think on that note, I just want to wish everyone a Happy New Year.
Yes.
And may you all get rich, right?
Happy Lunar New Year, the year of the snake.
Yeah.
Yes, and look, a blessed year ahead of 2025 in general. We're back here on the Catholic Toolbox. You will see us on social media. We are going to be now undergoing a major social media presence this year, especially. There's going to be some exciting changes this year to announce at the Catholic Toolbox, and we're going to continue growing there. So I'm really excited for this year, 2025, here on the show. And I thank every one of my listeners for being loyal and listening here. And we hope that every single week we're able to help you grow in your spiritual life and help you to take action with your faith every day in the world.
Amazing. Well, Amazing. Thank you for having me once again.
Yes, and onwards and upwards for 2025.
That's right.
Excellent. Thank you for tuning into Catholic Toolbox. Don't forget to subscribe. Go to the podcast, wherever you download your podcast, whoever your provider is, type in The Catholic Toolbox. That is The Catholic Toolbox. Click subscribe. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Go to our Facebook page, Instagram, and also find us on YouTube as well. So, also, one last thing, go to our website, thecatholictoolboxshow.com. That is thecatholictoolboxshow.com, and subscribe to the weekly podcast alert. We'll have a lot of exciting things coming up this year in 2025. So, thank you for tuning into the show. I'm your host and founder, George Manassa. Until next week, God bless, take care, and take action. In this era of grave spiritual crisis, it is not enough to simply know about your Catholic faith. That is why we need a Catholic toolbox to equip us with the practical skills necessary to live our Catholic faith to reach our ultimate goal, which is heaven for all eternity. Do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves. Do what it says. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. for the Catholic Toolbox as we hand you the tools to go forth, live the faith, and change our modern world today. Live on the Voice of Charity.